you read it, can we just make one quick announcement?
Sure.
Before you start? Today, anybody that has art hanging,
Oh,
in the
yes.
current hanging, we want to get it out of here today, because the juried art show is taking over the gallery starting tomorrow.
Why don't you sell it? Wait, who's taking it? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I don't demo. So what you're seeing is a figment of your imagination. So just remember that when I go through this. I wore my palette, so this is to distract you so you don't have to be paying too close of attention. As you can see, these are my pieces, and I like to do the smaller pieces better than the larger. Every time I really think about a piece, it ends up to be nothing. So I'm never happy with those kind of pieces. But I'm going to try to show you some of the ideas that I'm going to do, and my whole idea of art is just to have fun, and so that's what I like to do. And if it turns out and I like it, then that's a plus. If I don't, then so be it. I use just plain old Elmer's. This is really Elmer's glue. It's not that school glue. And it's half water and half glue. This is what I do with the kids in school, and that's the kind of glue that they use. This Yes glue, I was going to show you what it looked like. One of the artists back in South Dakota told me this is what she uses. But see how thick that is, and I just had a terrible time with that. So I haven't used very much of that. My cards get wrinkled when I do this, and so what I do, and the thing I forgot is a paper towel. So if there's somebody way at the back can get me a paper towel, I would appreciate that. My cards will get a little bit wrinkled, so then I just get out the iron and I iron them. Oh, thank you. I'm not going to need it right away, but I'm going to have it. This is a piece of cloth. This isn't a piece of paper. I kind of like cloth sometimes in mine. And so, thank you.
Oops, sorry.
I got it. So I'm just going to put that piece of cloth down there, smooth out that wrinkle that's in the middle, and I'm going to put a map on it, just because I think it's pretty. I love naming these things after I get done, and I haven't chosen a name for this one yet. But, so I'm going to put more glue right on top of that, and this glue will dry clear, but it will be a little bit shiny. And so that's why I cover the whole thing, because otherwise there'll be spots where it looks like it's a different color.
Kind of protective too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then I decide, yeah, that looks good. And like I say, my whole thing in art is, am I having fun? Yeah, this is fun. When I do art with the kids in school, my first question to them when they get done is, do you like it? And kids are so funny about their art. They're afraid they're going to do it wrong. You know, by the time they're like already third grade, they're like, is it going to be okay, you know, kind of thing. And I try to tell them there is no wrong in art. If you like it, it's a good piece of art. Nobody else might like it. But what I have found, amazingly, is that some people do like my weird art. And I'm shaking a little bit here, so I'm having trouble getting that little piece to stick. Oh, it's going to roll over. Even better. I love that. So, yeah, and that's most of mine are happy accidents. You know, it's like, ooh, yay, I think that's cool. And I find little strips like this that just kind of shoot up into nowhere. Just make it look cool. They don't really have any rhyme or reason to why they're there.
Are those strips of material?
2 of them are, and one of them is a piece of map. So that's going to be, that's all that one's going to be. That's just.
What's its name?
I haven't named that one. Have you got a name for it? I'm thinking about it. It's got a map, so it's going to have to be like, you know.
Call it the
Just name it map.
It could be fall colors because of the dark background, and there could be a lot of names.
Bobbi
Clausen
Collage, are we home yet?
Are we home yet? Exactly, that's great.
The road to success.
Road to, see all the names that come from that? Now, these are pieces that I haven't decided what I'm gonna do, but this is the kind of stuff I do. I just start slapping paint on a piece of paper, and then if I'm not happy with the way it looks, I'll cut them up in little pieces, and later on, they'll be a collage. So, this is another idea. I love rice paper. This is rice paper, and I just love rice paper because it comes, it wrinkles, it's got designs in it. It's just got so much going for it. I go to the thrift store and I look for odd ends, bits and pieces of things that might look good in collage. My house is a mess because I say, my granddaughter keeps saying, you gotta clean that out, Grandma. And it's like, no, you're not gonna get rid of my stuff.
Dried flowers would be pretty good.
Dried flowers are beautiful. I haven't taken the time to really do this. This piece is almost too big for my paper, but I wanted it that way because my piece that I'm putting on it, I may have to trim that little edge there. I had it on there different before because it fit before when I tried it last night.
Question?
Yes,
The brushes that you're using, they're not used for your painting, are they, or are they?
no, they're old brushes.
Okay,
When anybody, well, I don't know anybody, Carmen knows that if she's done with her brushes, that I'm a good source to give them to because I do the art in the schools and the brushes do get worn off. Or when the kids get scissors, they just think it's cool to cut the brush, you know? It's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, and so I like the colors. I was looking for a blue. I didn't have a blue I liked, so I thought this lavender will work. So I'm going to sort of center that. And most of mine are just, I don't measure, and I kind of like that because I think it looks more spontaneous. And I'm a spontaneous kind of person, otherwise I wouldn't be up here.
You must have been practicing your dialogue all
No, I hadn't thought about that.
Work with kids a lot.
Okay, now this is just a little piece that I did that I thought I might frame. Sometimes I like to use a big frame and a little picture, but I looked at this last night and I thought, oh, that'd make a cool card. And so that's going to be, and some of these I'll have to go back maybe and put a little more glue on. Sometimes I don't get enough on or whatever, but that's going to be that card.
Now, would that be the inside or the cover?
No, that'll be the cover.
Cover.
Yeah, I think I folded it wrong, but it doesn't matter, it'll refold. Okay,
Bobbi, when you're doing that in the schools, how many do the kids get done in an hour?
we do one
Just
in an
one?
hour. And what I usually do is I take projects, the first 2 times I go 3 times, and I take a project for them the first 2 times, and the 3rd time they get to choose their own. So, but it takes them pretty much, because I encourage them to tear. You can see, well, some of these pieces, they're sort of a combination. I like things torn, but this one I'm working on right now is mostly cut straight pieces. You can see how much I like that brown paper. Here I'm using it again.
You do have fun.
I do. And that's, to me, I mean, if you can't have fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
You can
Especially-
also wrinkle it
since-
up and it gives it a different texture.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can go back, you can watercolor on this rice paper too, and you get some really cool things going on.
Or take some of your old watercolor paintings that didn't turn out
Yeah.
and tear them up and
You'll find some of that
I've got
going
some
on
of
here
those.
pretty
You got
soon.
some of those, yeah.
You'll find some of that going on. I'll show you some of the other
okay.
things
Okay, don't get ahead of you.
that I've We're gonna put a red strip right up the middle of this.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Amherst glue does not turn yellow later on?
I haven't found it to yet turn
Okay,
yellow.
Because I heard that it did. But you haven't
Oh,
had a
I
problem
hope not. I hope not. I have not had that happen.
You haven't had it happen?
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna try it then.
I just like the Elmer's glue better than the other glues that I've tried.
Pieces of lace, doily,
Mm.
papered,
Mhm.
would be pretty on
Mhm. And this little piece is just a piece of an old watercolor painting, and I've cut out the little V's and then tipped them back up and tucked them in. So it just gives it a kind of different look. And so it's gonna go right up the middle of that. And it's almost, and this could be your Christmas card.
Yeah, you could use,
I was thinking about it.
you
It
could
might
use
be.
Christmas colors too.
I put my, if you put a little wall up there something, yeah, I mean, whatever, that's possible. I may change in all of these once I get home. I never
Yeah.
know for sure whether I'm really happy with them till I look at them for a while. This one I'm not gonna do, because I wasn't happy with that one, I don't
I
wanna
like
think
that
about it.
one. I mean, I like the others too, but I really like that one.
Oh, here's another piece of that I did. I had fun doing that one time, was folding that paper.
You, that you can do that. Yeah, with too much.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
that blue.
we couldn't get it fixed. This blue paper, this stuff I found at the dollar store. It was folded up, well, you can see, a whole pack of it like this.
Tissue paper.
And it's like tissue paper, but,
It's more,
you can pass it around. It doesn't feel like, it's different.
ooh, I gotta find some of that.
And I don't think they still have it, but I think I found it in Brookings,
At the dollar store?
at the dollar store.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my God.
I'll show you what it looks, I'll show you what it looks like when you try to tear it. It's really kind of different.
This is fibrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I got to find some of
Do you make your own white cards to put it on?
No, the cards I buy from Stratford, you can buy the cards with, and they come with the envelope.
They have, they have packs of the cards at Walmart too, Michael's.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, here's another one of those pieces that I put together like that. And this one wants to get out of place.
Oh, I like that.
So see how simple it can be. I mean, there was only 3 pieces of paper. I put the little gold in the background, which was a little piece of gold foil that I found. And I put this, and which is, like I say, those are just pieces of paper that I've cut, that you cut like a V, and then you fold them back up and put them up in the other place. So, oh, I put it in the wrong place. You can lay it here.
No, just gonna,
Yeah.
Okay, just to show you what all kinds of things I like to use, I'm gonna do one that's a little bit bigger.
Bobby, people are not being rude, they get excited, they're talking about it.
Oh, that's okay, I'm not. See, that painting, I didn't like at all.
Oh, the painting.
We're done with that one. We're just using the paper.
Uh-oh.
And so again, it's watercolor paper, which might wrinkle, but if it gets too wrinkled, you put it under a bunch of heavy books, or you iron it out, and it's fine to frame. And I'm gonna cover this whole one. This is another piece of rice paper. It's cheap rice paper. I think, again, I bought it at the dollar store in a packet like that. But it's not the real expensive stuff, but it still has the same look as the rice paper. And I don't care if it fits exactly because I can trim it later.
It's a pretty background.
And that's what I'm after, is the background, because I love those rice paper looks. I bought at the thrift store, well, I better lay that flat or it's gonna get really wrinkled. I found this pattern written in Japanese of all things, can you believe it? And so it's got all this wonderful paper in it. And so, here's a sheet out of there that I'm going to use. And I don't want to necessarily center this, so I'm not going to worry about measuring or seeing how. I want to keep a lot of it showing, but I'm going to put something on it, so it's going to be covered.
Here's a wet piece of paper.
Oh,
that
thank
can
you.
Wipe your hands on.
I
I
appreciate
was
that.
thinking of that too, but
Those are the things I didn't think about. You know, when you're home, you just run and do it. The same, was in that same thing, was this page, with the, what do you call it? It's directions for sewing, actually. I don't think it's knitting, I think it's sewing. But anyway, I just like that. So I'm going to put that on, how did I have it? Oh, kind of like that. It's not going to just go on top of it, it's going to overlap a little bit. And then, of all things, I found somebody had started a little piece, or I may have even started this, I'm not sure. I think I was trying to make a little mat to go on something I had. But anyway, I'm going to leave the needle in that. So when this goes on here, it'll be something to do with sewing, obviously. And it's just going to go right in the middle of that. And I'm going to pull some of those strings down. I love string on different things. I just think it makes it look alive. That's a good word. And see, I have some corners coming up. I will go back and fix those corners when I get done. But that's all I'm going to do to that piece. And who knows which direction it'll go. I haven't decided yet. But like I say, I'm leaving the needle in it just because I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Where do you want? You can lay it right
No,
here.
I was gonna let him get a close-up of that needle and everything. See that?
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Strings. Yeah.
Very different, huh?
So it'll be a stitch in time.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good.
I love that. Yeah, it just gets to lay flat. Let's see, I'll just put it right there. Okay, another thing I love to use is music because it's just so alive, you know. This one is actually, I picked the name for this, what was it? Music Color. Music Color, that's the name. So, I don't know, I may not finish this one because it's got so many pieces and I'm shaking a little bit and I don't want to. But you can kind of, can you see? I'll let you take a picture of it.
Yeah, right there.
That's going to be kind of with that. And again, I like to use angles and squares and I don't like things in rows. It's got to be always off kilter. So I've added the little clef marks onto the side, but the whole sheet is going to be the music background. So I'm actually going to put that one back in and not do it.
May I give you an idea too? You can actually rubber stamp on those too.
You could.
Different designs that you'd like to go with.
You know, I
rubber
haven't really
stamp
gotten into the rubber stamping. I keep buying them, but I don't do anything with them.
Those that are laughing, guess what?
Okay, well this is kind of the idea that Greta loves, as she told you, she always loves this picture. I actually sold, this is Superstition Mountain down in Arizona. And, oh, sorry. And I started it as a a watercolor. The sky is watercolor. And then I started adding in, some of the mountains are watercolor. And then I wasn't happy with it. I didn't think I liked what it looked like. So I started putting some pieces of paper in there. And that's what the purple pieces are all about, is just pieces of paper. Then I added a little black paper, and I think there's a little black ink along with that. Then, as she told you, I used some pieces of mesh like you get your onions in, and that's what the little funny stuff is in there. And then I still didn't like the bottom, so I took acrylic paint and painted the bottom so it looked like towards getting sunset. The person who bought this, I had it in the gallery up at the Biscuit Gallery, and the person who bought it was from Arizona. Is that just weird? So, using that as an idea, this is a watercolor, and I've kind of put it together, and I hope I'll remember kind of where I want stuff. And if I don't, it'll go on in a different place. But this is the watercolor that I'm starting with. That's a few pieces that I'm going to glue on there, so I'm just going to leave them. So, you can see it's just too pale, it's just too... So, we don't want that. We've got to add something to that. So... These weren't glued down yet. I don't know why they were sticking so well.
Are you just naturally creative all the time, or do you need to see things and then decide, hey, I know where this can go?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't, sometimes I just can't get. You know, when it comes to a big piece, I've tried to put together some big pieces. And like I say, I'm really not happy with hardly any of them. They just don't come together for some reason. But if I have a littler piece, it just is more comfortable somehow. So again, this rice paper, see how you have all those little threads going up? So those are going to be little trees, you know, sticking up on the top of that mountain. And it doesn't matter, you know, if it's all one piece or several pieces, however it works out. But
You said that's rice paper that you're sticking on?
That's what they call it.
And that last picture that I like so much for your mist, you added a little lavender tulle. Tulle, you know, that diaphanous.
Right.
Well, that net,
She had a
actually it comes,
a roll of that.
well, it's when you pack, what you get from onions and stuff.
Maybe it wasn't tulle, it was onion?
It was that
Mesh.
mesh, yeah, that mesh, that's all it was.
You're teaching the master.
Is somebody misbehaving over there?
Betty.
Betty's a collector, and I'm trying to help her clean her house.
Oh, no, never.
So they'll take her out of here.
Okay, that's one thing I was gonna say. If anybody wants to clean their house, they know who to give the stuff to. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna I kind of wanted a path here, so I'm gonna just put some of this beige paper that I've got here. That's not gonna work. And you know, when you're out in the desert, you're not going to find an exact path. So if it kind of meanders, that's okay.
What are you using there?
This is rice paper again.
More rice paper. Bobbi, where do you find your rice paper?
I bought it from one of the catalogs, and I can't remember. I don't think it was Cheap Joe's. It was one of the other art catalogs that I found it. And this is some of the good stuff. This is not the cheapy stuff.
Around here and I can't find it.
Locally you can't, no.
You can find it at the rubber stamp store in Brookings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought you could get it at Ben Franklin. I didn't.
I don't think so, but
Oh, okay.
Walmart used to have it, but not anymore, but at the rubber stamp store in Brookings, they have it.
now Walmart will have what they call their scrapbooking papers, and some of those will work. I'll show you some. I'm going to go through my little pile here in a minute and show you some of those. And then the rest of this is just going to be sort of greenish. And I like to paint my own tissue paper. So this is white tissue paper and it's painted with acrylic paint. And then you get a shiny surface to it. So you can use either side actually. But then you get a lot of different colors. Okay, now I want this grass to kind of meet that mountain that's going there. So I'm just going to put this, they don't really have grass, but whatever it's called. I may have to fix this once I get home. I don't know if I don't put it on the same, it's not going to cover. But see, this piece is quite green because I was mixing colors a little bit by the time I got to that page.
This is your artist license, honey.
There you go.
Could be springtime on the desert.
And there you go.
After it had a rain.
I was thinking I should add some poppies, you know, because they have wonderful poppies in the spring, in the desert.
What would be pretty to rubber stamp a deer and put maybe a deer down there with it
Could
too.
do that.
It'd be so pretty.
Okay, where do I want that picture? And like I say, I probably will go back on most of these and check them again and see if what I want to change, what I want to add. If I don't like them, I can soak them in water and they'll be done. Or
Oh,
you can soak it right off because it, you know. If you really don't like it, or you can cut it up and use it in a new collage. You never have to throw away anything.
That's dangerous.
so you've got even more stuff for you.
Oh, my husband says that regularly, yeah. I get that pretty often. Especially my granddaughter's the worst. She's like, you've got to clean that stuff up, Grandma.
Then he likes the pieces I make and brags about it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Okay, I'm a little short. I didn't put them on the same, but I will fix that when I get home.
So it's not, you can add to it later on then?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to try this.
It's so much fun, you know, and there's so many pieces that you're unhappy with maybe when you do them, but then you can just add a little paper to it, and I'm not going to put too much more glue on there because I want to see if I like it at all when I get done. Okay, so there, well, who knows? I was going to show you, huh?
Did you hold it up also?
I can.
beside the
Yeah.
camera?
Look how pretty it is.
There, there. Not just to the camera, but to us.
Yeah, to the people. They want to see
To
it.
the people.
To the people.
I ran out of green, so I got some other colors going
We'll
there.
show
that
the people.
Probably won't.
That's
Won't end up.
Look at that crowd.
But
That's almost, it'd be like water in the background.
it could be,
Yeah,
be
like
a lake.
Yeah, lake water.
And so probably what I'll do is set it up in my room, you know, or in front of the TV actually, and then every time I get a chance, I'll look at it and see, do I like that or don't I like that? You know, who knows? This is an old card. I sold this piece a long time ago, but this was mostly watercolor, but it was in a class and the teacher said to put some white, and so some of the white petals are paper. And so, you know, you can just add them as part of it. a little history, very
Pretty.
back when they first started making paper, they started using it for decoration. So it's been around a long time. So I'm going to show you just a few more pieces and let's see. How do I do this? This is just the beginning of one. I haven't really finished this one, but that's the beginning. It would be called The Lone Tree, and I might be done with it. I'm still thinking about that one. It's one I've been working on for a while. This piece, I'm going to leave it in there for now. I've taken the little strips of paper, and it's a combination of my tissue paper that I've painted because it's nice and shiny. And it's a combination of that. It's some just tablets that I found that had different colored papers in it.
It's upside down in the camera.
That's okay.
Oh, let me take it out so you don't get all that shiny stuff on it.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, there now. Oh, that's beautiful.
I like that.
Yes, that's nice.
The fencing is embroidered floss, and I've just drawn in the little spokes in it. The posts are several different pieces of paper. It's a black and it's a brown and it's a circle and it, so on. The trees were just torn up bits of tissue paper that I had painted. Some of the grass has been painted in and some of it is drawn in. I mean, some has been painted in, some is collage. So some of these sprigs down here have been painted, some are collage pieces. So I like to combine the two pieces.
And then is this a print then?
This is a print, yeah, this was a big piece.
Wow.
Oh, so that's just
And it was a tweezer kind of thing, because you can see how narrow those strips are. And so, getting them on there with the glue, it was very time consuming.
Was that a lot of texture in that one?
Quite a lot, yeah. And when I get done with a piece, I usually coat them with a acrylic matte, so they don't really need a glass on them.
Okay.
So you could hang them without a glass if you want. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So I just finished, I have a gallery up in Washington who likes my cards, and I had sent her some of these homemade ones, and she really loved them and asked for some more. So I had them all ready to mail, and then yesterday when Greta called, I thought, well, I'll just hang on to them and pass them around. So I'm going to pass these around and let you just look at some other ideas. You can just pass them around. So, and while that's going around, I'll just show you some of the other kinds of materials that I have here. So I already told you about the rice paper. This is another sheet of that, and when I come to one that's already, maybe this is torn. It is torn. So you can see what happens. If you want to rip it this way, it goes fine. If you want to rip it this way, it doesn't. It does not tear even, which I like. I mean, that's not a problem for me. But so you have your choice, doing one or the other. And I have another little piece. I don't know where this foil came from, but, like I say, I go to thrift stores and stuff, and that's where I pick up this. I think this is some of the good rice paper. You can see that it does have more depth to it than the cheaper stuff. The other's kind of on top, and this is all through it. I want to make my own paper. I've been saving lint for 4 years. So when I told my grandson that, I thought he was going to have a fit.
Are you accepting contributions?
No.
Isn't that beautiful?
But here's some of the papers that I painted. So sometimes I just make them all one color. Sometimes I'll just put them on like this, where you have a lot of different things. When I do that, I lay it on wax paper because you don't want it to stick. You have to be able to peel it off. Sometimes I end up using the wax paper because it might have just the right kind of little piece there that I need for that.
It's pretty.
You can see some of the nice rich colors you get when you paint
Yeah.
the tissue paper. This is tissue paper. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love those painted papers. So here's another sheet that I just painted in strips, just so I'd have,
Is that watercolor paint? Or acrylic?
no, acrylic.
Acrylic.
Yeah,
Where would you find that copper metallic paper?
I don't know.
Oh. Not a good answer.
No,
Well, wrapping
Sometimes,
paper.
sometimes wrapping paper,
sometimes Christmas paper.
and you do have to be careful. I did buy some of that metallic paper. It's really hard to glue. It doesn't want to stick
Like
down
she
at
painted
all.
the leaves.
It just doesn't want to come up. Here's some new other rice paper with leaves in it.
That's almost that.
And then you can see, I love the colors in this, but I didn't like what was happening with the barn, so this one will be cut up and used in something else, and the same with all of these. You can see I like bright colors, and so this one I did kind of a spatter barn. You can kind of see the barn, so I'm not sure what I might do with that one. Here was part of the map that I used. This is gonna make some cool,
Oh, that's.
you know, it'll be cut up, obviously. I'll be cutting out shapes out of that.
Yeah.
Do you ever use photos?
Photos don't work for what I do too well, because when you put glue on top of the photos, it makes them,
Could you run it through a copier on like copy paper?
yeah, you could do
And
that.
then use that photo?
You could do that. There is a technique, and Audie's not here, is she? No.
Like this.
There is a technique where you're supposed to be able to put the mat, acrylic mat, on a photocopied sheet like that, and soak it in water and peel off just the image. But I haven't been able to do it. Every time I try it, I just get a mess. So I don't know. Here's something waiting to be introduced someplace. Christmas cards, you know, who knows what you might do with a Christmas card.
There's your lace.
One batch of tissue paper I got was this brownish color, and you never can find brown tissue paper. So I'm kind of saving that one. This is some of that scrapbook paper I was telling you about. I just like the color of that. This is also scrapbook paper. Here's some pieces of crayon that's on crayon, and those are going to make some nice backgrounds, I think, sometime.
She used a lot of time. Oh, yeah.
We go to Wingwas real often, and they give me newspapers if I ask for them.
Oh,
So that's where I get my Chinese papers.
Where is that?
Wingwas. They always have a basket on the floor, and so one day I said, "Do you throw those away?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, can I have some?" This is another scrapbook page. Again, the dollar store. Once in a while, they'll have these, and they work just as well as the more expensive
I
ones.
get some of my papers there.
You can make your own papers.
You can, and I haven't tried that. I want to do that.
Bobby,
Yes.
If you make your own,
Do I what?
use wallpaper.
You know, I tried to use wallpaper, and usually comes in a roll, and it's really hard to make it lay down flat.
I have some extra that was flat in books.
That works. That works wonderfully.
You want some?
I do. Yeah. In fact, I picked up some of those books one time, and it was great. And the kids loved it when I was going into the schools. Here's some more of my acrylic painting. See how rich those colors are? I especially like the darker siennas and like that.
Do you string everything up on a clothesline to dry so you have space?
Oh, I don't do that much at one time. I usually just lay it out as much as will dry, and then the next day I go back and attach whatever I haven't. I had a roll of this, and it looks wonderful, but so far I haven't really found out one. Every time I've tried to use it, it didn't work out, so who knows. Napkins. Napkins was in one of my tulip pictures. I don't know if I know you've all seen it because it's been down here. Oh, what I meant to bring and I didn't bring, the webbing paint. There's paint that says webbing on it, and you just go like this on it, and it'll leave a big splot. You don't know where it's going to go, so you got to be ready for whatever happens. But it's really cool in something I don't know if I'd use it on any of these, but on some things it really adds a lot to it. It just kind of pulls it all together.
Where do you find that?
You can find it, I saw it at Ace the other day, but Walmart has it. And it says webbing. And you'll notice on
You spray
some
it or
things,
just
yeah.
you shake it?
Well, you shake it first and then you spray it. But it comes out in a, like, you have to not point it at it, you just kind of let it fall. So you kind of, you go outside and you hold it and you let it fall onto your painting.
That's what I done wrong. That's what I done wrong.
Gotta be precise.
I tried it.
Yeah,
before
here's a
you
piece
read
of
it.
that, of wallpaper, and when it comes out of the book, it's wonderful. So, okay, the last thing I was going to show you, how am I on time?
I don't have my watch, what time is it?
It is 50 to 1.
Okay, I'm fine.
You're doing good.
Okay, the only other thing I'm going to show you is if you have kids or grandkids and you want to be doing some art with them, I'm just going to show you some of the ideas that I show to the kids, and think about shapes and what's easy for them to put together. So I'll lay them down here and you can just do them one at a time. I'll lay it for a minute and then I'll hold it up. Or do you want me just to hold it up?
Yeah, like that, okay.
They're prettier when you hold them up.
This is what, when I tell the kids, I say, we're going to do a self-portrait. So the day so they have to work on, and lots of times they're like, I don't want to do a person, can I do an animal? I say, that's fine, but it needs to be a face. When you're done, I want to see a face. And so this is one of the ideas I give them for a face.
Where do you teach school at?
I do it through Danaka, and they ask the teachers who wants to do collage in their classroom, and so I go 3 times to each classroom that requests me. So
That's nice.
we usually do it in the spring. Carmen does watercolor, and I do collage. This one, we always do this just because it's easy and the kids get a kick out of doing it.
Oh. Like short.
It's fish, and like I tell the kids, you know, it doesn't have to be like a real fish. It can be, if it looks kind of like a fish, you know it's a fish. And so they get to cut out their own, I bring them patterns, and so they cut out their fish, and then I go around with the sprinkles. I don't let them do that because it's too messy. And but I tell them, you know, that makes it look more like water, you know, kind of thing. So,
Swimming pool or something.
yeah. I'm getting ahead of you. Keep up.
No, go ahead, just show it to them first, and then
Okay.
we'll put it down here.
Castle. Castles are easy because you can do anything you want with a castle. Sometimes they put flags on. I have another one that we can show you with the flag. Oh, there it is right there. You don't have to have good paper. Newspaper is fine when you're working with the kids. They don't necessarily need construction paper if you have something to put it on. Newspaper works really good. The ads have so much color you can add almost anything to that. Paul Clay. How many of you seen in this book something like this? Of course, I don't do Paul Clay, but this is his idea. And one of the young men did one similar to this in a classroom. It was absolutely gorgeous. He used only black and white, and it was just wonderful. Butterflies. And again, just newspaper and tissue paper. I always show them a landscape, and we talk about local color and the fact that you don't have to use local color. I mean, nothing in here is the color that it should be. And that's what I want to get across to them, is you don't have to worry about a blue sky and a blue ocean. You can make your ocean purple if you want to, like I did. The little guys love the animals.
Yeah. A bean for an eye.
I was doing preschool for a while, so I'd have to take everything pretty much pre-cut. Not only the very hungry caterpillar, but the very hungry mad caterpillar. I don't know how you make a mad caterpillar, but he ended up mad. Turkey, of course, if I do them in the fall, they get to do a turkey. Another landscape, and I never can remember which direction I did this one. It's one though you could look at it this way, or you could look at it this way, and it's really, and either way, it kind of works.
I
So
think we're better.
this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the sky.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna have a preference, huh?
Some of these I've added and taken away, but you don't even want to show that one. This is what the wallpaper, when I had some of the wallpaper. And it really has some rich textures, so it's fun to use that wallpaper. It's all wallpaper down here. This is just magazines that I cut blue.
Wallpaper, do you use a thicker blue or still the?
No, I still use this, but this, like I was just telling her, it's the wallpaper that comes in the books. If you try to use the wallpaper that's on a roll, it's really, you can't get it to lay down. Maybe if you soaked it or something, it would work. I've never tried that. I tell the kids you can be really simple. You don't have to be, real. This is kind of silly, but it's kind of fun too, just because the kids love this one.
Sure.
But it's so exaggerated. It's kind of like a Dr. Seuss drawing,
I like
Very simple pieces. The kids love this one. Someday I should take, in fact, I did try to do this on one of the cards. But I should take more time and actually measure, I'm not good at that kind of thing. I'm very impatient. I want it to get done.
How many years, how long have you been doing this?
I started in 95. So when I retired, my whole idea was just to get color on paper. I just always wanted to be an artist. And when people started buying, I was like, oh, this is really nice. But anyway. This is just a bunch of pieces put together, and like I keep telling the kids, even though you'd never find a flower that looked like that, it's a flower.
That's right.
Yes,
Your symbols on these cards, are they like?
that is what it is. The name of it is that's a symbol for that.
Okay.
Let's see, Nancy.
I had a book one time that had all those in it, and so
Do you have your own shop?
oh no, another castle. The kids like doing the castle. Oh, here's my other caterpillar that's really angry. I don't know how they always end up so angry.
I think it's a red face that you
Maybe.
with the green. He is angry.
But I always remind the kids that all of the books that Eric Carl puts out are collages, and just beautiful, beautiful collages.
He didn't like his grass, his fruit.
That one's saying don't mess with me.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's pretty.
A real easy butterfly,
Well, I like this one.
a real easy, and the pots are so easy for the kids to cut out. I just tell them, fold your paper, cut the outside, and you have a really nice pot. And this is just a page out of a catalog, one of those, would you order
For
4th of July out of that
Oriental Trading Company.
Yeah. And one last one is the simple landscape. And I try to explain to the kids, exaggerate some of the things, and you got, it just kind of looks different.
That could be when the sun's coming up over
Yeah.
the water.
I haven't done any of these names because these are ones I use for the kids. So.
My cards.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never done the collages, but I'm going to do that.
In all the books that I checked out, it's rubber.